Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to Georgia Shooting Connection Friday Night Live Stream. I hope I get something right before this is over with this evening. So I forgot to send links. Then I sent the email. I just forgot to click send. And then I realized that I forgot to put the link in the email. I sent them the description. No link. I had to resend it. So I apologize for littering up your guys' emails this evening.
We love you, Jamie, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Oh, praise God, praise God. I've heard that twice today. I got a text from Gene that said the same thing. I'm grateful for that. But golly, guys, it's been a day. Hey, Edward Petty, I'm glad you can see. Not necessarily me, but we're at least we're on. Anyway, today's a big day at my household. My granddaughter Rigby graduated from the 4th grade. She goes to middle school, 5th grade next year.
Woohoo!
We went to McDonald's and then Sweet Frog for frozen yogurt today. And so that's that. And then I went and cut some grass, and then I had to walk dogs, and I'm struggling to get the verse of the week together. And obviously, I failed totally on the email to you guys. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad all you guys on the panel are here. Thank you so much. Let's start telling how our week was. I done messed up and said how my day was. So, CW, how was your week?
Well, I got 2 to catch up on. Excuse me. So I had 2 good weeks. I got to the range a couple times each week. I had my Metropolitan, which is my bullseye shooting winter season league banquet last Friday, which is why I wasn't here. We have an awards and a dinner and a meeting all rolled into one. It starts about 6 in the evening, about an hour away, and generally I can get out of there before 9. I didn't get out of there until almost 11.
Wow.
They had huge prizes. We had huge turnout. Almost twice as many people. There's over 5,000 members, so we should have big turnout. But we only ever get a couple of hundred, and we had close to 5. So we had a lot of people. So it took longer, but we had a good time. I donated my own cast bullets as one of the door prizes. And don't you know, I won my own bullets. But I was able to swap off with somebody else who got rifle bullets, who didn't want them. So it was perfect. I swapped with him. He swapped with me. We actually helped each other carry the bullets to the car. And everything was good. Yeah, it was heavy. All good. Got to the range, fixed the contender, had some fun. So got some other stuff going on. I got a couple of videos out. That 1911 worked. Couldn't believe it, but it did. So we're moving on with that. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of projects going on, a lot of stuff going on. We're having a good time. Walter, how was your week?
Well, also, it's been 2 weeks since I was here.
2 for you, too.
Yeah, last week, my neighbor across the street, very nice lady. I think she just turned 67. Anyway, she's getting up there, but she's getting married. Her boyfriend of a number of years proposed to her, and they're getting married, and they're selling both their places and moving the heck out of California. They're going to go to Sedona, Arizona. So she had her place listed, and it sold within like 4 days for her asking price, which was California money. Is pretty. She got a good chunk. But anyway, so they were having a little party and invited me, and I went over, and so that's where I was last week. And then I got to the range. I got to the range twice this week, but only got to shoot once.
That would have drove me nuts. I would have been awful.
It's a 100-mile round trip to the range where I shoot, right? And I get up there, and 2 miles from the front gate of the range, there's a hard closure on the road. and the county boys are up there working, and the county has a website. I always check. There was nothing on there saying there was any closure up there, and I said, "Oh man, can you guys let me through?" He said, "No, we got trees across the road. We got all kinds. You can't go through." I was about ready to park the truck and walk the last 2 miles. But anyway, I got back to the range and got some video shot yesterday and had a good time, and met a couple buddies up there, and so that was fun. And within the last 2 weeks, if you have seen what's going on at my channel, I got a really nice donation from RCBS. They sent me a whole bunch of gear, a new press and a new beam balance and a new powder measure. So we're getting that stuff videoed and taking a look at it. And all of those pieces, I'll just do a quick overview of each one, and I'll use them all for 6 months or something, and then do a review. And I don't like to jump the gun too much on any new gear. But anyway, yeah, life's good around here. In another week or so, you'll see a new firearm that came to the Viejo bench a couple of weeks ago, associated with the
Barrett 50?
The Schofield project.
Barrett 50? Oh, man.
Well, it rhymes with M3. Anyway, so yeah, plenty going on around here too. I got more casting, reloading, and shooting to do than I can shake a stick at, which is the way I like it. So that's me, Mr. Hot Pot, down right there below me, where you probably ought to be up here above me. But you know, what you got going on?
How you doing, everybody, tonight? Oh, how was my week? My week was busy at work, just inventorying all this powder and stuff we got in for our Memorial Day sale at Republic Ammunition. So you may find some things that you wouldn't normally find on the website right now while they last. And free hazmat. Still got to pay shipping, but free hazmat. So I take $15 off your order, and there's no limit.
Nice.
As much as you like. Let's see. Yeah, just busy week at work. Toothache's feeling way better. Been on my meds. It's still a little sore. I'm going to go ahead and get it taken care of next week at the dentist, which is 2 big thumbs up for me. I miss eating solid food. I really eat probably got to go bad. Oh, birthday. That's what we do it. Let's see. That's about all I got right now. I guess we're over to Mr. Dr. Zink. Andy. There, Andy.
Dr. Zink. Paging Dr. Zink.
Okay, how about Kyle way over there on the other side of me? How's he doing?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing good. Busy day at work, getting ready for this weekend and all that. I've been bouncing around from department to department, just helping out where I can, doing my job, and then wearing other hats, you know. Makes the day go by quick because you're blowing through, you know, so many different things and helping everybody out, making people laugh. And that's pretty much it. I'm tired. I got to work tomorrow. Getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning is terrible. But, you know, it is what it is. Mr. Mike, what are you up to?
Well, I've hit the May slump. It got slow this week, but I did get to personally get the boat out and go fishing, and took a business partner, customer / guys in the firearms industry fishing with me, and admittedly he's not much of an angler. And I put him on the front of the boat. I said, stop looking at them little bunnies buzzing around these ski boats or jet skis. He's like 28 years old. I said, pay attention to what you're doing, man. And so he was getting the hang of the trolling motor, and I'm sitting there with a fly rod. He's sitting there with a conventional rod, and I start wearing his hind end out. I'm catching bass You know, I mean, getting hooked up with large bass on a fly rod. And finally, I know this isn't a fly tying channel, but I make my bass lures with 2 hooks, and I articulate it with wire. And the way you tie that wire in, uh, you know, you think, okay, that's stout enough. Well, I had a Alabama bass, which Lake Norman, our local huge impoundment, over 1,000 yards of shoreline. Come up, gulp one, take me down into a brush pile. I'm fighting him, come loose. Didn't pay any attention to the fly, cast back out at the next brush pile, hooked up again. The bass came off without a fight. I start looking at the fly. He's ripped my rear hook off. Now, you got to remember, this is 2 flies tied in one, articulated with steel wire. And he's pulled the wire out. And I went, okay, well, I'm going to tie those different from now on. So I tied 4 or 5 flies, cast them into oak trees and wild rose bush vines here, and started yanking them, not with the fly rod, but with a leader, and started tearing out limbs. And I said, okay, that'll hold. That'll work. So the only thing I haven't done is hook the neighbor's big dog and see if it'll hold there. But I doubt they fight as hard as those Alabama bass. The wildlife's griping about that because they breed with everything. And if they breed with smallmouth, they call them a mean mouth. And it looks like a smallmouth, but you can't tell if it's been bred with a Alabama bass unless you feel the tongue patch on his tongue. But they are vicious and they fight hard. And Mikey like it. And the new Garmin, the new Garmin, I can see to the side. I can see straight down. I was picking up fish and saying, okay, I'm going to cast this fish. And would cast the fish on my radar or sonar screen. And I don't have live scope, which is thousands of dollars, but still a big improvement over the last boat I had. I had a Humminbird. I had flashing red lights, you know. But this thing could see to the side, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Got to talk to a couple of rich folks that are landscaping and cleaning their docks and this and that. And I was like, you ain't got much of a backyard, dude. What'd you pay for this lot? I don't want to say, he says. But the dude landscaping looked like he needed a rappelling rope just to be planting flowers. You got to remember, we're in a pretty hilly area, and they backed the lake up in it, and now they put houses and cabins on every spot of land there is. So, and I will not be on the lake, near the lake, this weekend at all. As much as I want to go fishing, that ain't happening. I did try out a new 6BR load with a 87 grain VMAX. I didn't really like the extreme spread. It was like 30. So I upped the case fill a half grain. If I upped it a couple more tenths, I'd be compressing the load. So I said, well, I'll load 5 of them. I'll take them to the range. Well, I didn't get a chance to take them to the range. I started finding groundhogs, and they work. They work really, really good. I just don't know how they do it really long distance. So
What's the velocity you're getting out of them?
Oh, CW, I'm getting like 31.
Oh, they're cooking.
Yeah, they're cooking big time with 30 and a half grains of varget. 31, the powder's up to the top of the neck. So very compressed. So I'm 30 and a half with a 87 grain V Max with a BC of 400, which is pretty good for a varmint bullet, you know.
Yeah.
So
I can get that, I think, out of the arc, but it doesn't take that much powder to get there.
No. And I shot 2 groundhogs with it this week, and my buddy wanted me to do it for the gross factor, you know, because he shoots a 6.547 Lapua with a 105 Sierra varmint bullet, and he blows groundhogs completely apart. I mean, it's nasty, and I'm like, I'm really not into that. There's no degree of dead. Dead is dead. You know, I'm sort of that practical guy, so I'll probably play with this a little bit, go back to the 22-250. You know, 22-250, there's no guessing. Hold on hair at 400 and kill it, you know.
Yeah.
So that's it. Back to you, Jamie, unless
Dr. Zink, you back yet?
Dr. Zink got something
Andy,
to
you
say.
there? Hello?
I think the knot slipped on his robe.
Hello? Anybody home? He must need some work. Tell you nice.
Maybe he'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Mark Thomas said he would be late. Hillbilly is out in the yard working. He's got company coming over all weekend. It is Memorial Day weekend. We want to remember the true meaning of what Memorial Day is. I know, like I said in the description, we all got our grills ready and our smokers cleaned up. We get a day off from work, but it's a day we remember those who've sacrificed their lives for our country.
Yeah, don't thank a veteran for Memorial Day. You should thank a veteran every day, but Memorial Day is for remembering guys that have failed, you know.
The best way to do that is to make sure you attend your local
Parade.
ceremonies.
Yeah.
Vanessa Kitty's got 2 parades on Sunday morning, so there you go. All right, tonight we want to talk a little bit about the Winchester 1886. Y'all remember we talked about the Marlin 1881, then we talked about the Colt Burgess 1883, and the 1886 is probably the first modern, what I would refer to as a modern lever action rifle, in that it could take the pressure of a bigger, full power, big bore cartridge.
Modern made 86s, not the original ones. They were strong, but they weren't as strong as that. The modern ones are good and strong, but the original ones still were made with old steel and old technology. You got to respect them a little. It was stronger than the average for the time, but it's not quite up to the full power until you get the modern steels of the same design, modern steels, and then they're good and strong.
Howdy, Chad.
How y'all doing?
Hey, Chad.
Doing pretty good. How was your week, brother?
Well, I won't go into deep detail, but I got called out last Saturday to go on storm work for the tornadoes in central Kentucky, so I put in a long week.
Oh,
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. That was bad. Dude, that was bad. I was thinking about you.
I was thinking about you too. I've I want to get together and talk to you, man. And I not to put you on the spot here tonight. We'll talk about that in private. But when I tell you this, you're going to know what I want to talk to you about. I've discovered this lady on YouTube, and she does a live stream about 8:30, 9:30, just about every night. And she name of her channel is Hillbilly Crime, and she goes on there with a dude named Gavin Fish. She's on his, and there's Texas 6. What's going on, Ricky? But yeah, man, I want to get together and talk to you about some of that mess. We've got worse than that going on down here, but we'll talk. Every small town does. But anyway, back to the 1886. Y'all want to see a picture of it?
It's a pretty rifle.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, Jamie, while you're pulling that up, because of all this talk about lever actions, my YouTube, when I pull it up just as YouTube on my phone, not my favorites, on my computer, I got all kind of lever action stuff coming up.
Good deal. They're listening.
Yeah.
So y'all notice this particular example's got your color case hardened receiver, got the full octagon barrel, got the color case hardened 4-end button here, magazine sport, whatever you want to call it. The lever is color case hardened as well. You see, you've got upgraded wood, and even the butt plate there is color case hardened.
And that was one of Tom Horn's rifles, which is one of the videos that pulled up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
4560, I believe.
We'll get to that. CW sent me a link to a video from the Utah museum, firearms museum. I forget exactly what museum it is, but it's an interesting story about a fella named Coffee and another guy named William Miller. So this guy Coffee was from out of town. He's pretty good with a gun. He just rode in, and he's, anyway, this guy named Miller, they have a confrontation over a woman, what else? And the story goes that she was of, shall we say, questionable morals. If that makes any sense to y'all. And
Lori Darling.
And they went on to have a confrontation. Well, next thing you know, this other lady that owned a ranch, not the one of questionable morals that they had the to-do over. Anyway, this guy, Coffee, had been working for her on her ranch, and she also owned a house in town, so she's doing pretty well with her with the ranch and stuff. Anyway, this guy Miller kills this guy Coffee, and the rumor is that the guy Coffee, nobody knew where he was from or anything like that, and he gets unalived, as this one particular lady would put it. And so they arrest the Miller dude, and he shot him twice with an 1886. Okay, so he said that after they had words, that he saw the glint of this guy Coffee's handgun and shot him twice with the rifle. Well, when they did the coroner's inquest, he admitted he killed him, admitted he shot him. They didn't say if, they said that the Coffee guy was shot twice in the side, not front on in the chest. So if Miller pled not guilty by reason of self-defense, well, if a guy's looking at a 90-degree angle to you, how endangered is your life? But anyway, what I would want to know about that is, did the was the handgun on the ground? Was it still in its holster? That's going to tell me a lot. But the fact that the coffee guy was apparently closing or opening the gate and he was shot in the side from an ambush, he was charged with just plain out assassinating a guy.
Murder. Yeah.
Murder. And that's what it sounded like to me. Anyway, but if the guy's gun is out of the holster, then maybe he saw the gun and was reacting. He never got a shot off. It was unfired. That's one thing they said. But yeah, it'd be interesting stuff. So back to the 1886. Y'all got a good look at that. I'll stop sharing that's a beautiful rifle.
That's a beautiful rifle.
And by the way, you can still get those from Winchester if you're such a mind to. So this guy named Bennett is the president of Winchester, and he goes out to Utah to meet this guy named John Moses Browning about a single-shot rifle design. See what happened. Spencer has dissolved at this point, and there's a big void there in the single-shot rifle market. So Bennett was looking for a design. What happened is, while he was out there, they discovered that Browning was working on a big bore lever action rifle, and it turned out to be much stronger than the 1876, which we've also talked about in this series. And Winchester made him a deal on the spot. See, what happened was when a designer come up with a patent on a gun like that, gun companies, hey Bulldog, gun companies would pay a flat fee, usually $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 for exclusive rights for that patent and that design on that gun. They would manufacture the gun and sell them. So, but this particular gun, they wanted exclusivity. Winchester wanted exclusivity bad. They paid John Moses Browning $50,000 in 1885, 1885, 1886. That's
what? More than they paid for the Louisiana Purchase.
Yep.
Well, I don't think so. I think they paid $2 million for the Louisiana Purchase.
I mean, I was making a gesture there. Jesus.
But the Louisiana Purchase bought everything from. Never mind. We're not going. We're talking about the 1886 cows. You know I'm a history buff, dude. You know I'm gonna go down in there. Anyway, I want to stop right here and call out side chat. So, Walter, what do you think we should type?
Too easy, 1886.
That's what I'm thinking. So y'all type in 1886 and we'll call your name out on TV. So, of course, Walter Viejo is on the panel and in the side chat. He was in first and on the page. And he barely beat Reloading from the Hot Pot. Gene's also on the panel in the side chat. Single Master Sergeant Bulldog is out there. Texas 6 is out there. We're missing him on the panel tonight. Hope everything's okay. I need to call him tomorrow. We got 3G, 1886 Tactical Fuds out there. Edward Petty, Dwayne 7834, Ron 2A Matters, Justin Grimm, Mike Hester is also on the panel. Glenn Davis, Crash, Bobby Barlow, Kyle Lusk is on the panel. Bama Dad is out there. Garage Guy 879, Tommy Boy. Good to see you, Tommy Boy. What? Yeah, Mr. Bob. Check that out. Show that. 50,000 in 1885 is worth $1,648,448.45 today.
Can you imagine?
That'll buy you a few trips to Lori Darling.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
So Mr. Bob's out there, and we're glad to have him. Living in Southwest Virginia, 1965, Steve. Welcome in. Papa's Place is out there. Edward Petty. And that brings us up to date, I believe. I hope I didn't miss nobody. And I don't think I did, but the way my day's been going today, I'd forget my head if it wasn't tacked on. Pistol Pete. Yeah, there's no more cents. No more pennies, fellas. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, they do away with the penny finally?
Finally. So, y'all want to see a clip I got for you?
Sure.
Let me see if I can figure this out.
I'm about to head back inside and find a new pipe tobacco to take advantage of.
Part of the 1886 locking system. And what Browning came up with was a system where he would have two vertically traveling locking lugs that would interface with both the bolt and the receiver. And that made for a much stronger system than just a knee joint toggle lock. So when we open the lever, you can see that these two bolts, one on each side, they're going to drop down. That means they come out of connection to the bolt. You can actually see the half section where they would interface with the receiver there, the half section where they interface with the bolt. When the lever closes, those lugs come up and they securely hold the bolt in place. Browning also devised an improved elevator system. This was self-contained, no longer had an opening at the bottom of the receiver where foreign material could potentially get in. And the way this one worked was that a cartridge would come out of the magazine tube onto this follower in the bottom, or its elevator. And the last bit of the bolt or the lever throw would lift the front of the elevator up. One of the other interesting elements is you can actually see there that the bottom half of the bolt is protruding forward. That does a couple things. It's going to act as the ejector when the bolt is fully open, and that kicks out the empty case. It also acts as a safety because it only retracts back to meet the rest of the bolt face when the bolt is fully closed. At that point, the extractor is going to snap over the cartridge. Now the bolt is fully locked, and only at this point does that extension retreat into the bolt face, which means that the firing pin can now protrude through and fire the cartridge. The markings on these rifles have finally made a change. They no longer have specific patent dates listed on them, but these are still manufactured by the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, New Haven, Connecticut. We will find caliber markings on the back of the barrels here. This particular one, it looks like someone has replaced the rear sight because the original markings would not have been overlapped by the rear sight. The model designation is still on the upper tang, model 1886, and the serial number is on the lower tang. Now, one of the complicated parts, or one of the seemingly complicated parts about these rifles is this weird array of cartridges that were off.
I'm going to summarize that for you right here. Okay, the basic rifles were obviously 4570 offered in these cartridges, 4570, 4590, 3856, 3870, 4065, 4070, and 4082. So all of these cartridges are basically based off the 4570 cartridge. I need to draw attention to the 3856 as opposed to the 3855. 3855 is for the more moderate action gun CW. It's basically a necked up 3030 cartridge as opposed to the 3856, which is a neck down 4570 cartridge.
Yeah,
correct.
One's almost straight and one has a lot of taper.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, the other offerings, and the reason I differentiate those is because they're based off the 4570 cartridge. The 5100 and the 5110 are two cartridges that require different twist rate barrels. So the 5100, and this seems counterintuitive to me, the 5100 shot a 450 grain bullet. The 5110 shot a 300 grain bullet. You would think that with more powder capacity, you'd want the heavier bullet, but that's not what I got from the video. Also the difference is the heavier bullet in the 5100, if I'm understanding this correctly, it took a 1 in 54 twist rate barrel, and the 5110 with the 300 grain bullet took a 1 in 60 twist barrel. That don't seem like a whole lot of spinning to me.
Well, if you remember, a round ball in a black powder, optimal was around 1 in 70, 1 in 66, 1 in 68, 1 in 72. It's in that range for a round ball. And a 300 grain 45 is not much from that.
It really ain't, is it?
Yeah, it really isn't.
Excuse me. Am I not allowed to say ain't no more? I can't
Yeah,
say
yeah, you are.
I can't say no more either. I mean, yeah, our Southern English is pretty careful. Okay, so as always, Winchester offered several options and upgrades. The rifle that he was showing, one of them is a takedown model. It's nice. It's very nice.
Yeah, real nice.
And the other one is a typical standard carbine. It's just plain Jane gun. And if you noticed, the one where he was explaining the action is had that roughed up screw on that elongated rear sight. That was the plain gun, but that other one was the 4590 takedown with that special wood and all that stuff. Anyway, let me do this. We have a sighting, Walter.
Uh-oh. Is he out there? There he is.
Walter.
Here I am. I just ran out to the kitchen. Are we ready?
Count us down.
On 3, 2, 1. Hey, Mario. Hope you're feeling better, Mario.
Good deal, good deal, good deal. All right, so I feel bad. I talk all the time, and I won't give you guys a chance to.
If you really like the look of these 86s and you want to see more of them, our good friend Jeremy over there on Lever Guns 50 is regularly shooting the 86. It's one of his favorites. He likes to shoot the big 50. He sings a lot of its praises, and he shoots it through some pretty heavy-duty steel with that 300 grain 5110, and it goes right through AR 500. It's pretty amazing. He's touting loads with over 6,000 foot-pounds of energy in a modern version of an 1886 or a modern built. Now it's identical to the old ones. It's just modern steel, and it's just amazing. Just amazing.
It really is. Y'all got to check out Lever Guns 50 if you're not seen it. 5110. So, yeah, turn your semis in for a lever. Way to tell them, Fuzz. So, Chad, you got anything on lever actions? You got a few, don't you?
I'm not a history buff on them, but yeah, I have a few 30-30s and 35 Remington and 22 Henry. I don't have any of the old ones. I guess the coolest one I got is a Winchester Canadian Centennial Edition. Octagon barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Winchester made a pile of commemoratives. Pile of them.
I was reading up on it, and I got an interesting fact on this. During the early stages of World War I, the Royal Flying Corps purchased model 1886 rifle chambered for the 4590 Sharps cartridge with special incendiary bullets designed to ignite the hydrogen gas in German airships.
Ah,
Interesting. I had not heard that.
They are still offered in 4590 and 4570. So you can still get them, and they're still chambered in those.
I just thought that was pretty interesting. You're shooting airships with your lever action rifle.
Maybe that's what really brought the Hindenburg down.
yeah. What are you hunting, son? Dirigibles.
Yeah.
We're hunting Zeppelins.
Zeppelins. That's right. The Marlin, the modern Marlin, and I say that with the old,
1895.
the old JWs, and now the Rugers are they're next level. I mean, you don't have to worry about. I shouldn't say that. Loading data in most books are set to, except for the Lyman book. The Lyman book separates it as Trapdoor Springfield, Marlin and Contenders, and then like Siamese Mausers,
In 1890, the number one,
and the number ones.
Brownings.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can load a Marlin to 450 Marlin spec, no problem.
Easy.
I'm shooting a 350 grain hollow point at damn near 2,200 feet per second, and I'm really not pushing it. I'm really not pushing it. The deer don't know the difference. I mean, if I shoot one with it, I played that game for a little bit.
My own heavy load is a 400 grain spear with 4198 or Reloader 7 will do it, but it's just over 2,000 feet per second, and it's not one you shoot a lot of. It socks you.
If you're gonna go to the range, take a lead sled and do yourself a favor. Mine is a 30-31 powder, rat turd powder, and it's a little crunchy and when you load it, but Lord Almighty, the end result is something else.
Yeah, you can definitely load it probably more than your shoulder would like. Well, there's usually three levels with most manuals, like Mike said. There's the Trapdoor, and then the Marlins and the Winchesters, and then the number ones, the Mauser, the Siamese Mauser, and the Browning single shots.
And I actually sold
those are right behind the 458 Winchester, right behind it.
I actually sold a Siamese Mauser chambered in 4570. And the young man that was thinking about it, and I was like, son, you could load this to unbelievable spec. Okay. To just make sure you got a copy of the Lyman book and follow that. They tend to go into detail about the three guns and how strong they are. So,
All right, what's going on here?
You guys with the 336s out there, that's interesting, Tommy boy.
Yeah, a lot of people get upset with that one. They think the 45 Colt brass is weak. They think that you can't do that, and it's just nonsense.
That's
The
right.
reason the Casull went to the small primer was for efficiency of the burning rate of the primers, more so than strength. You look at the volume of the cases, and they're really they're almost the same. There's not enough different. And brass by itself is merely a vessel to hold the powder. It really doesn't have a lot of strength for your cartridge. Your strength comes from your chamber, your steel, your bolt, your lockout.
Your
That's where your
cylinder.
strength comes from. It doesn't come
Yep.
from your brass.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Brass is just a container, and
It has a little bit because you see it like with the Glock bulge and things with pistols with unsupported chambers. You see places where brass does have to hold pressures, but you don't see it in high power rifles.
And you don't see it in Ruger revolvers, really. I mean, you don't.
Revolvers are 100% supported.
I can load a 45 Colt to the point to where it torques your hand completely sideways when you shoot it, but I mean, it kills just as good at a lower velocity, and I love 45 Colt.
Yeah,
Well,
I took one of those H&R Buffalo Classics, and I rechambered it to 454, and I shot 454 loads in that, hundreds and hundreds of them.
cool.
I rarely load my 45 Colts up, but I did the other day at the range. I took a couple pretty hot loads and shot it at a steel 8-inch gong at about 40 yards. It tore my gong support apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The momentum of those heavy bullets is not to be underestimated.
Yeah. It was that 270 grain bullet, and it was rolling out at about 1250 or so.
That's a stout load. That's a stout load.
One thing I wanted to point out to the guys with the 336 is, especially the 35s, which I have. I know Chad has, and I bet Chad already knows this, but Gene and Kyle both have 35 Remingtons as well. 35 Remington is it reminds me of 45 ACP in respect that it's a low pressure cartridge.
Yeah, high performing, low pressure.
And that Marlin 336 is engineered around 30-30 cartridge pressures, which is 40, 42, 45,000 PSI, which is still a long way from 30-06, 270 type pressures.
Oh, yeah.
You've got, if you'll pay attention to your load data, you'll see the PSIs over on the far right-hand side. They can compare that to what you're seeing in your 30-30 load data. And you can usually go a little bit over if you needed to max pressures. Go ahead, Chad.
Don't underestimate the low pressures though, because I've seen a 35 Remington take a buck at 250 yards. So.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, like CW said, they're high performing, low pressure.
Yep.
And by the way, anybody that's coming down for the 4th of July regalia at Bullseye.
Here you go. Hold on.
I've got some.
There you go.
Yeah, I got some 35 Remington ammunition. So
he's trying to lure us in there.
Hey, listen, you guys will come down on Monday and Tuesday. We're closed. I open up the shop. Y'all pile in. I lock the door. Have your way. You know, it's a wheel and deal. You know, nobody else gets in but y'all. So.
Tommy boy. Goodness gracious.
Edward Petty has a good question. It depends on what rifle you're shooting it in. I mean, if you're shooting in a period correct, I would stay low. But if you're shooting in a modern rifle, I imagine you can stoke that mother up.
But do not trust any of our load data.
No,
I had to
Well,
throw that disclaimer in there.
I don't load for 4590.
So don't listen to Mike at all.
No, I load for 15 under that. I load for 4570. Or
So
20.
I've loaded a few for mine. I think in my Henry 4570, I think I've only shot maybe 20 rounds. I've had that thing for 10 years.
Golly.
one a year, 1 or 2 a year is enough.
You can load that up lighter. Load it up.
Oh, I've loaded it.
with
I've loaded it
2400.
light.
Yeah,
I've loaded
okay,
it light. But if you're gonna shoot a 4570, you might as well shoot a 4570.
Yes, that's the way I roll, man. Whatever cartridge I have, I tend to max them out.
Stoke them up. Yeah, I got a guy at the club walk down. He was shooting some kind of African rifle, getting ready to go on safari because he's got way more money than me. And he went, "Man, what are you shooting?" I went, 4570. He said, "Jesus Christ." He said, "I'm shooting a 375 H&H and your bullets are whapping the target way harder than mine." I went, "Well, go old school, son." You know?
Yeah, it killed buffalo to extinction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Fluffy 10 millimeter Jeep guy says he loves his 336 35 rim. Just
save that brass.
Find more ammo that's not overpriced. I have some, but not a lot. I can't count the number my deer mine's killed, man. But 35 Remington is becoming one of those cartridges that you're going to have to reload for.
Yeah.
Just about going to have to do it.
Factory ammo not around.
I really don't think it'll ever go away. It won't go away. It's just too popular. But it's going to be boutique. So
it ain't popular enough because everybody's going to these fancy 8.6s and 6.5s and.
Well, you go ahead and shoot a bear with a Creedmoor and see what happens. You know, I knew a boy in North Carolina. You got to remember they in Kentucky, it's probably the same way. The bear hunters tend to tree the bear and they'll shoot it out like a possum. You know, a really big, nasty possum.
A big, angry, teethy, clawy possum.
That's going to kill your dogs if you don't kill it dead. I know a boy that shoots with a 243 Woodsmaster, believe it or not. And he said, "I ain't never had none, but they always drop dead." And I was like, "Well, it's because you're putting the bullet in the right place." You know,
it's always
that's always been that way. CW and I, but we went in the 3 days. People were like, "I lost a deer with 300 blackout." Well, where'd you hit it? I'm really not sure. And it was
how many hundreds of yards?
Right, yeah. I mean, it's not a sniper rifle, for God's sakes. It's a 30-30 with better ballistics. You know,
100-yard gun.
Yeah, 150 at the most, depending on what bullet you're shooting. And
y'all see this comment Tommy Boy wrote? 54R and 4570 have the same head diameter. I'm like, that's giving me ideas I should not or not be thinking.
Right.
Makes you want to find the cheapest Mosin Nagant you can find and have it rebarreled for $45.70, doesn't it?
That's kind of what was crossing my mind.
They don't hardly make cheap Mosin Nagants anymore.
Well,
No.
they don't make them, period, anymore. That's the reason the prices have gone up.
Yeah, they've
The,
gotten
day,
ridiculous.
the days of buying a case of those for $30 a piece is gone.
Yeah. And let me put this up here. This is Forgotten Weapons, a link to Forgotten Weapons video on the Winchester 1886. There's a lot more of it than what I showed tonight. But,
And that guy's sharp as crap. I mean, he knows his stuff.
check that out. Tommy Boy thinking the same stuff. He held back a receiver. Think what a bolt action could do with a 4570 or a 4590.
Like I said, I sold a bolt action. It was a Mauser 4570, and that boy bought a brand new Ruger 4570, the first Ruger we got, Ruger Marlin, I should say. And he told me, he said, my hand loads for the Mauser, he said they exceed the lever action quite a bit. And I said, I guarantee it. That Mauser, that Siamese Mauser large ring is stout.
You could load them up.
Oh yeah.
And what your shoulder will like.
Mm-hmm. So I got
thinking the same thing. Check that out. He's got this, I don't know, hoppity.
hoppity ass Mosin.
Wow.
Hoopty. Hoopty.
Hoopty.
Whatever. Jamie,
It's a Jeep thing.
I got gifted a Lee furnace last week.
Well,
Guy
good.
found out I had some molds. And he said, "Hell, I'll just gift you a furnace." And then I got gifted an old Korean cast iron pot. So I'm kind of on my way. I just need a ladle and some knowledge. You know, I'll be hitting.
Is it a bottom pour pot or a dipper pot?
It's a dipper pot.
Oh, I got
Mike, this is for you.
What? You got it walked away?
You
What's
got
for me?
357 SIG at your store?
No, that's a dying cartridge, and I had some. People are dumping them left and right, you know, and
For the same things being said about 40 Smith and Wesson as well.
yeah, well, 40 will hang on a little longer than 357. But everybody follows law enforcement, you know, and law enforcement's gone to 9mm, same as the military, because they got more ladies that are applying for, you know, positions. And let's face it, a small frame person cannot shoot a 45 ACP or a 357 SIG as well as they can a 9mm. And
That's why they came out with the 45 gap.
yeah, that was a sad history.
Yep.
So we got law enforcement renting our range right now to recertify officers, and they're shooting 40.
I love 40.
I do too.
And Glenn, I don't have any 357 SIG.
You know the best part about renting the range to them?
The
They
brass.
They pick
Yeah.
up all.
Yeah,
They
they don't pick it up.
They sweep up all their brass and put it in a 5-gallon bucket and leave it under a table for me.
Nice.
That's cool.
Super
Okay.
nice.
I'm not saying anything bad about the 357 SIG round. It was a hot round. It beat the living snot out of frames on Glocks and various other platforms. But Glock held on for the longest time with the 357 SIG, and now they've dropped it. So I'm gonna say the cartridge is gonna be boutique. I hear you, CW.
Mr. Edward Petty. Calling Mr. Edward Petty.
Yep. You got to look on eBay and places for that one, but they're out there because it's out of print. Yep, right there.
Smokeless loads, 4590. Lead bullet, but smokeless loads.
Mm-hmm.
Reloader 7, 3031, 4759, 27, 4227, 2400, and a unique.
I'll tell you, unique goes in about anything.
Doesn't it?
Yep.
Gene, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Real quick, if you want to get a hold of me, I can easily send you pictures of these pages if you'd like.
Hurry. I got my air guitar ready.
We all grooving, man.
We were just talking about this.
Yes, sir.
That's a Winchester 40 Smith & Wesson. I don't like the way that green screen doing with my black hat. Must be my webcam. I'm gonna change it back to that other one, although it don't focus very well. But I wanted to feature some modern cartridges. So tonight, well, we were just talking about this cartridge, the 40 Smith & Wesson. This one is hand loaded by Mr. Hot Pot himself with a target hollow point in a Winchester case.
Is that a 180 grain?
Yes, it is. That is a 180 grain target hollow point.
Nice.
In a Winchester case, and this one pushes just around 900 FPS as per power factor for USPSA shooting, because I used to shoot a Glock 40 caliber, a Glock 35 40 caliber in USPSA when I first started shooting it. This is one of the old loads. But let me read you off a little bit about this, okay? This is a really cool little cartridge here.
Lay it on us.
The 40 Smith & Wesson. Back that up. That thing's fuzzing out.
Yeah, but it looked cool.
He's on fire. The 40 Smith & Wesson
like an airhead.
pistol cartridge developed jointly by American firearms manufacturers Smith & Wesson and Winchester in 1990. The 40 Smith & Wesson was developed as a law enforcement cartridge designed to duplicate performance for the FBI's reduced velocity 10mm auto cartridge, which could be retrofitted into medium frame 9mm size semi-automatic handguns. The designer of this cartridge name is Bob Clunk.
Blob.
Blob Clunk. Designed in January 17th, 1990. They're specific about this one. And it's produced from 1990 to present. Its parent case is the 10mm auto. 10mm, best millimeter. The bullet mass and type goes from 165, 115, 155, 135, and 200 is what I have listed here. The 165 at 1130, the 115 at 1400, the 155 is 1160, the 135 at 1400, and the 200 at 1050. In the aftermath of the 1986 FBI Miami shootout, in which 2 FBI agents were killed and 5 wounded, the FBI started the process of testing 9x19 Parabellum and 45 ACP ammunition in preparation to replace its standard issue revolver with a semi-automatic pistol. That's all I got about that. Everybody that shoots, if you shoot handguns, you're going to probably love a 40 Smith & Wesson. That does look kind of cool, Rebel, don't it? It's like an action shot. Like some AI going on in here.
Does anybody remember the competitor of the 40 Smith & Wesson when it first came out. And there were actually guns chambered in the 41 Action Express.
Yep.
That was big time in all the gun magazines. 41 Action Express versus 40 Smith & Wesson. And the gun public actually accepted the 40 Smith & Wesson. So
It was a CZ75, wasn't it?
Do what?
It was a CZ75.
Yes, we're the American gun public is a weird bunch. We tend to glom on to what we glom on to, and the 41
shiny new thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are. We're shiny new things.
Yeah, and the 41 Action Express wasn't shiny enough.
I guess this one's pretty shiny, isn't it?
Well, it was on fire a minute ago. It's not now.
There we go.
There you go.
Right. Also, I want to throw this out there. Republic Ammunition is having a Memorial Day sale. It's free hazmat with no limits. You'll still have to pay the shipping, but free hazmat. And we got some really, really strange powders in that other people might like to see again while it's in stock. So check out the website for your favorite articles. Happy by keeping you information around the house.
You breaking up there, buddy. I couldn't hear you real good.
I can't hear me real good either, Jamie. It's all right.
So you've got articles on the website?
We've got the different powders on the website, like that 700, that 800, and that PB.
Yeah, if you've been
If anybody's out there,
you
you got
text today, and I bought some 800X and was
nice.
shocked and pleased to get it, particularly for the price.
Yeah.
Fred, no, I have not booked a hotel yet. Let me know where you're staying, and I'll try to get a room there. We're talking.
Looking at Gene's website at Republican, I saw that 700X. If I wasn't already flush with it, I think I've got 12 pounds of it already, but I'd grab some at that price.
Yeah, we also got an Alliant. We got an Alliant 1200 in and Alliant Promo.
Is
Almost pretty good.
Alliant period is weird that you got it in. You know,
it's stock that's been back in warehouses and stuff's been going through and it's been found.
Wow.
And my boss is in that group of people that we got 2 pallets in, and we also got an entire pallet of tack. 700 pounds of tack came in.
Nice.
Great powder.
That'll help a lot of folks out.
I'm jumping out, guys. I'm gonna get ready for my show.
See you, Chad.
Have a good night. Have a good night.
You're tired.
Thanks for coming, Chad. We appreciate you, bro.
Yep.
Good to see you, man.
You too.
Bye.
I hadn't seen Promo around in a long time. It's got similar burn rate to Red Dot. A lot of times.
Yeah, that's why I looked up and read about that, because when stuff like that comes in, I'm not familiar with it. I've got what's this? What's the loads? What you recommended? And I try to research everything that comes in that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
Who's tried BE 86? I have.
Me.
I've used a pounder of it.
Yeah, I've used it.
Didn't blow my spirit up too much.
That's bullseye with a flash suppressant in it.
Yeah, during the previous famine 10 years ago, whenever that was, Unique had gotten real hard, and I ran out of it, and I could get BE 86, and I got like 5 pounds of a keg of that, and I still haven't used it up. But
I go through it like crazy.
Do you?
Yes, I use it in my open gun. I make major power factor with that BE 86 with no problem.
I loaded a lot of 45 ACP with it, and it works okay.
Then I can download it enough. I can get minor power factors with it. You know, so
Yeah,
I
I
use
have.
it.
I had no problem with it. I just didn't. I had
That's
plenty of other powders.
that's what's in this.
I have shotgun reloaders that cuss us pistol shooters for buying their powder. And I was like, well, that's tough crap. That's
Well, the reason I bought the 800X was for 40 Smith & Wesson. I love it in 40.
Glenn, no, there is no limit on buying. Free hazmat, no limit. And the sale is gonna run until next Tuesday. He's gonna extend it out till Tuesday.
And the thing about that is with no limit and no hazmat, you pay in a flat shipping. The only thing that's going to go up is your sales tax, and that's based on where you live.
Well, yeah, shipping goes with weight as well. I mean, if you're gonna, that's just the way that it works. How's it meters compared to unique? Meters
Better.
fine.
I think meter's better for me. It's still kind of flaky, but
I'll tell you,
it's a little smaller flaky.
I'll tell you another good powder that meters well for 9mm 45. That's Silhouette.
Yep.
Yep. I like Silhouette too. I use BE80.
Right?
You got to be careful with Silhouette though, because 1/10 of a grain means a lot.
That's that's if anybody's used to loading unique, that's it kind of goes along with that. I mean, 1/10 of a grain is kind of like the way you measure earthquakes. It's exponential.
My experience with Silhouette is you can go from spring load to dumbass within 1/10 of a grain.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
I don't know. I use Silhouette for loading my 9mm major.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only run like maybe 6.2, and I'm hitting a 174, 175 power factor.
I still like good old unique, and it's unfortunate that it's hard to come by. But I saw the hand writing on the wall, and was able to buy a bunch of it. I think I've got that many pounds of it stacked up in the closet. Like 20 pounds.
I just did I learned a lot about marketing, that grown men that are gun guys love to be invited back to the back office to delve in a box that has weird stuff in it. And if they get to rifle through that box, I had a state that I went through and had a ton of Reloader 22 old bottles, but non-opened. We threw away everything that had been opened, fertilized gardens and roses and grass and whatever with it. Even though this guy's a trusted reloader, but still, I'm not selling open powder to anyone. And there were some old plastic bottles. Hey, Mark, of unique in there, and of course they didn't get offered to the public. We scarfed those.
You commandeered them.
Yes, it was my right. It was my back, my ibuprofen, my wheelbarrow that unloaded it out of this basement, and I claimed the right. And one of my partners, Trent, he was like, "Well, how much do I need to pay for this?" I said, "Trent, buy me a bottle of ibuprofen and a good fifth of whiskey, and it's covered, buddy." I mean, there's no, the people that wanted me to do this are trusted me, and we're going to make a profit no matter what. And I brought back people that helped us on the groundhog shoot, and I said, "You helped me on the groundhog shoot. Here's a 5-pound bottle of Reloader 22, that's yours for free. And whatever else you want here is $20 a bottle.
Nice.
And people are like, "Oh my God, you could have made so much more money." No, I'm coveting really good customers, and they've appreciated it. We've made a profit, and I'm happy with that. $20 a bottle for powder you can't get. That's
Yeah, that's a fortune in friendship right there. What you did.
right. Oh, I had one customer that said something pornographic almost about what he would say about getting a hold of a bottle of Reloader 26, and I had two, and he came in. He was looking at different stuff. He was looking at bullets. Wow, you really got to find here. I said, yeah. And I laid out that bottle of Reloader 26, and he went, okay, what I got to do? And I was like, no, you don't need to go there. It's fine. He said, how much? And I went, $30. He went, oh my God. And then I pulled out the second bottle, and he went, oh my God. And I mean, I was selling it for the prices that were on it. It was only right thing to do. It didn't cost me nothing. The estate told me, how much will you charge to get this stuff out of here? Well, I won't charge anything as long as you let me make my profit. Okay, fine. And so I took out over 100 pounds of powder, probably 30 of that had been opened. We dumped. And so I had 70 pounds of powder to sell. And, got various bullets and this and that. The guy was really into these huge old school long action magnums. So I got a lot of large rifle magnum primers, some federal gold medal match, which is he and Steve, So hit me up when y'all come down here. I'll see what I can do for you.
We usually have those federal gold medal match in stock. We don't get many at a time, but we do get them.
Right. But I bet you can't sell them for what I can sell them for.
Probably not. Yeah, they're a little pricey.
Yeah, they're pricey, big time. They were pricey back in the day, So, Gene, primer still hanging at about 75 to 100,000.
Well, for small pistol, they're 40,000.
I'll pay that.
I mean, it comes down between 34 and 40 for small pistol. It just goes up from there. I mean,
with y'all's buying power, I can see how that.
Let's just say 50 on the average between large pistol, small pistol.
Yeah.
We tend to carry pretty good prices. Like if you go on Ammo Seek, Republic Ammunition is always going to be toward the top on pricing. So he really plays on Ammo Seek a lot.
There's Preacher's Day off.
Yeah.
Primer don't change his groups. He's too shaky to notice.
It's like Rebel on that 700, that 800. He's not trying to rate anybody on it. It's $25 a pound. Whether you buy
that 700X is a good deal, man. I was looking at that.
That's a absolutely kick-ass price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the 700
$200 for an 8-pound keg.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's what Jamie paid today.
And it can do so much,
So it's the 700 comes in 14-ounce cans, not 16. So that's a 14-ounce can, not a 16. But the 800 is in 16. And the 700, we have 14. We got 4 pound and 8 pound.
Right.
And the 800, we got one pounders and 8 pounders.
Just wait till they start making trail balls again.
Oh yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Whee!
Yeah, I'm down to my last, I think, 4 pounds of trail boss. Out of
Aren't
the
you lucky?
5. Yeah.
Hey, Gene, y'all got any accurate 5744?
I do not believe so.
I don't think I have any of that.
I'm going down the accurate aisle on the shelves.
I'll tell you something about that particular powder, Kyle. If you can find some, and you know this because you worked with me on that 35 Remington project.
Yeah.
If you can find Shooter's World Buffalo rifle, it's the same stuff.
I think I've got some of that. I'll have to look in one of the safes.
I'll be excited to see when Shooter's World comes back into the world.
They are.
Yeah, they're trying.
Like Paul Loud said, Trail Boss is now in production. So
We just got a bunch of Shooters World in. We got Clean Shot, Auto Pistol. We've got their new 6.5 Creed and their new Patriot.
I want both of those.
What's the
Got it in
Patriot,
stock.
Gene? Where is it? What is it?
It is
That's
designed
up
for
to-
223.
So it's like Barget.
Yeah, I think Patriot is supposed to be similar to the Western Attack.
Yeah, if you
Attack.
Kyle, if
I
you're
think
looking for Shooter's World compared to Varget, that'd be precision rifle. It's
Okay.
almost the same. I mean,
I've
literally.
got the magic booklet back here in the reloading room that has all the comparisons.
Yeah.
I think that Patriot's more like that Shooters World AR Plus.
Yeah.
That reminds me, we need to go through some of the. Everybody is having. Of course, I recommend you if you need powder and primers and stuff to go with Republic ammunition. But Mid South is having a Memorial Day sale, and I'm pretty sure Bud's Gun Shop is as well. Shooters Mid South has got Lee stuff on sale. Those micrometer precision bullet seeders, breech lock die sets, all that stuff is on sale, and they've got the Ely 22 long rifle stuff on sale, and Peterson brass and Sierra bullets, and free shipping on Timney triggers.
That was Mid-South?
Mid South.
Oh, and Preacher, since I got you on here, I had Biggin's barbecue for dinner last night.
Peterson brass is being touted as some of the best brass out there compared to Lapua. Or
It's been good for a long time. Good
yeah,
stuff.
it's ADG is also good. I think I said
Atlas
that right.
Development Group.
Yeah.
Well, Preacher's Day Off, Republic Ammunition has free hazmat, no limits. You can buy 1 pound or you can buy 700 pounds.
Yeah.
No hazmat.
There's some good powder deals over there right now.
He's not limited at all. I asked him about that. I said, "Are you sure no limit?" He said, "No limit.
Yeah.
Primers and powders, no limit. Free hazmat."
Is precision any good in 7mm bench rest?
Why, Lord, yeah. I mean, it's based off of 6BR. It's just necked up. Texas, you know how it shoots. 7mm.
He's talking about Shooter's World Precision powder, though. Is it
Oh,
any-
yeah. It's just like Varget.
There's an article on that particular comparison over on the Reloaders Network. If that's something that interests you.
If you guys, I'm not touting this website at all because it's based out of California, and I'm a member there. I'm a gold member there. Obviously, for my business, it pays to be a gold member there. But Accurate Shooter, if you got any questions about precision, just delve into the forums, see what guys are shooting. Don't post there. Don't ask a question. There's like 5,000 experts that are going to come in and answer your question. Me and a buddy of mine really make kind of fun of it, but you can derive your own opinion from the posts that are there in the forums. But there's some serious competitors there, and it used to be 6br.com. It's now Accurate Shooter. It's a great website to access for precision reloading and what guys are doing out there on the competition circuit, which God knows I'm not on the competition circuit, but I don't have the pockets for that, you know. But I have customers that do. So, matter of fact, I just transferred a bat Melanite 6 PPC action today that a guy got from Bruno Shooter Supply on sale. $1,500 for an action. Ouch.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, for an action. Oh, it's pretty. But I don't know if it's worth $1,500.
Okay, it's time for our
there?
work of the week, and great conversation, guys. I'm loving this.
Oh boy.
Great stuff. Also, June 30th, July 1st, meet and greet at Bullseye Sporting Goods in Vail, North Carolina. We hope all of y'all will come. We've been talking about the 7 I am statements of Jesus in John's gospel. We went through the 7 metaphoric statements. We went through the 2 literal statements. And a lot of our study comes from the New Testament. Tonight, I wanted to talk about my very favorite verse from the Old Testament, and we'll get into that. And if I can find it, I had it earlier. Okay, are y'all down with that?
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Down
get her
like
done.
flat tires.
This is this is an Old Testament verse, but it's going to sound and feel very New Testament. It's from the book of Job. And we're going to start in Job chapter 19, verse 23. Maybe I should set this up a little bit beforehand before we get into the actual verses. So most biblical scholars will tell you that Job is the oldest book of the Bible, that it actually occurred between in Genesis between the Tower of Babel and Abraham is the time period that Job is theorized to have lived. We don't know who wrote it. It's named Job because he's the main character in the book. So if you don't know the story of Job, basically, there came a time when the angels of God came before God, and Satan showed up too. And this is how the book starts. chapter 1, verse 1 says, "There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was blameless and upright, and one who feared God and shunned evil." So it goes on telling about Job's possessions and his wealth, so forth. We get down to verse 8. God talks to Satan and says, "Have you considered my servant Job, that there was none like him on earth, a blameless and upright man who fears God and shuns evil?" So right here, twice in 8 verses, we've got the exact same words about how righteous, blameless, and upright Job was, a man who feared God and shuns evil. So the devil kind of challenges God and tells him the reason Job is that way is because you built the hedge of protection around him. You don't let me get to him. And God says, "Okay, go ahead, go for it." And so Satan does, and he says God told him that you can't harm his body. Well, Job loses everything. Then he still praises God, and then the devil comes back and he says, "Well, you still won't let me touch his body." He said, "Okay, but you can't kill him." So Job gets these boils and he gets sick, and I mean, even his wife tells him to curse God and die. Okay, and then his 3 buddies start coming over to cheer him up, and to cheer him up, they start telling him how people don't suffer who aren't evil, right? You've done something, or God wouldn't be punishing you. God wasn't punishing him, the devil was. God just allowed it to prove a point to everybody that we can't see. Anyway, we get down to chapter 19. Job says this: "Oh, that my words were written. Oh, that they were inscribed in a book." Guess what? I got them right here, Job. You're golden. Verse 24, "That they were engraved on a rock with an iron pen and lead forever." Y'all don't go melting Job's lead. Verse 25, and this is the verse of the week. "For I know that my Redeemer lives, and he shall stand at last on the earth. And after my skin is destroyed, this I know, that in my flesh I shall see God."
Yep.
Verse 27, "Whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold, and not another. How my heart yearns within me." And then he goes on and tells his friends a few things.
Yeah.
John MacArthur there writes, and this is for verses 23 through 29. Listen to this. "At the point of Job's greatest despair, his faith appeared at its highest, as he confidently affirms that God was his Redeemer. He wanted that confidence in the record for all to know. Write it down in a book, chisel it in stone, and fill it in with lead. Job wished that the activities of his life were put into words and inscribed in granite, so all would know that he had not sinned to the magnitude of his suffering. God granted his prayer. God was his Redeemer, who would vindicate him in that last day of judgment on the earth when justice was finally done." And in verse 26 and 27, he also writes that Job had no hope left for his life, but was confident that after he was dead, his Redeemer would vindicate him in the glory of a physical, in my flesh resurrection, in which he would enjoy perfect fellowship with the Redeemer. That Jesus Christ is that Redeemer is the clear message of the gospel. See Luke 2:38 and Romans 3:24, Galatians 3:13, Ephesians 1:7, and Hebrews 9:12. Okay, let's get a little background here. And The meaning of the word, hold on, somebody's at the, no, there ain't.
It was just me. I got bumped off.
Okay, the meaning of the word goel, which is the Hebrew word translated redeemer, Goel, is fundamental to understanding this passage. The word is important in Old Testament jurisprudence. It had both a criminal and a civil aspect. As blood avenger, a goel had a responsibility to avenge the blood of a slain kinsman. You can read about that in Numbers 35, 12 through 28. He was not seeking revenge, but justice. On the civil side, he was the redeemer or vindicator, where he had the responsibility to buy back and so redeem the lost inheritance of a deceased relative. As such, he was the defender or the champion of the oppressed, and that's a commentator named Smick, Smick. Morgan there says, when Job, amid the desolation, declared that he had a goel living and active, he was uttering a profound truth, the truth that in God, man has a redeemer in all the fullest senses of that great word. It was a spiritual apprehension of an abiding fact, which fact came into clear shining when God was manifested in the flesh. That's Morgan. Spurgeon there writes, Christ's kinship with his people is to be thought of with great comfort because it is voluntary. We have some, perhaps, who are akin to us, yet who wish they were not. Many a time when a rich man has a poor relations, he is half ashamed of the kinship between them and wishes that it did not exist. Shame upon him for thinking so. But our Lord Jesus Christ's relationship to us is no accident of birth. It was voluntarily assumed by him. Spurgeon continues there. Remember, too, that it was always considered to be the duty of the goel not merely to redeem by price, but where that failed, to redeem by power. There are two redemptions, redemption by price and redemption by power, and both of these Christ had wrought for us. By price, by his sacrifice upon the cross of Calvary, and by power, by his divine spirit coming into our heart and renewing our soul. And there, David Guzik writes, for I know, he says, we are impressed with Job's certainty. This was something that he knew. It was much more than a hope and more than a guess. So this is my thing. You go back to the fact Job was written all those years ago, and yet we see, even in theoretically the first book of the Bible, that was probably oral tradition handed down to the point where Moses wrote. You remember when Moses ran out of Egypt, he lived in Midian, which was very close to Uz. So he would have had those oral traditions commonplace in his life. But before all of that, Job, in the midst of his depression and his desolation, as one of the commentators put it, when his life is as low as it can get, he's lost children,
everything.
He's lost all of his herds, all of his money, all of his wealth still. And his three friends are just beating him up. Boy, God don't punish those who don't deserve it. He stands up and tells them, I know my Redeemer lives, and he shall stand at last on the earth. And after my skin is destroyed, this I know, that in my flesh I shall see my God. It don't get more New Testament than that.
Exactly.
I'm fixing to get shouting over here. But in the first book of the Bible, we see a snapshot of not only end times, but we see a forecast, a snapshot of the resurrection and our resurrection, to know that we will have flesh again, and we will have that that glorified body that Christ Jesus has now. So that's never in doubt in God's word.
Written how many years before the New Testament, Jamie? God knows. I mean,
Right. And if you, when you think you've had a rough row to hoe, and you think your times are tough, and a tornado came through your town, go in and read the first few chapters of Job. Get in there and read that and find out about this guy. So he's basically a rancher in today's terms, right? He's got thousands of camels. He's got, a 1,000 head of oxen. He's got, all of these, donkeys and beasts of burden and sheep. And he's got 10 kids. And, who knows how many wives back in those days. It doesn't say a whole lot about that. But he's got property, and he is probably the wealthiest guy, not in just dollars, but in his life in the East. And I mean, he's like the Elon Musk of the day, and he literally loses everything. And it wasn't all at once. It was death by 1,000 cuts. All of these people come tell him, hey, remember those sheep you used to had? Yeah, well, they just burned up, and so did all the people that were tending them. Hey, you remember those camels you used to have? Yeah, they're gone too. And he gets all the way down to where he's got literally the shirt on his back, and he finally rips that off, and he's laying down there in the dirt, and he says, fellas, I said, I came into this world naked, and naked I'm going out, but I know that my God is there. After all of that, he has this faith that is unmatched, faith. And it's like Jamie said, his buddies are all telling him, said, no, you must have screwed up somewhere. Said, no, I didn't. And even if I did, I know that my God is right there with me. And it's really an incredible story when you go read that and try to put that into today's context, which you guys know I always try to do. But this was an amazing tale about what happened to Job. I mean, and you can't tell it in one paragraph. There's 5 chapters or something before you get to what Jamie's talking about here. But it's a good story, and if you're feeling rugged, go read that. Yeah, preacher. Yeah. Job had an issue or two with her, I'm sure, but don't go by what he says, folks.
My mama told me that if I ever feel the urge, she taught me this from a little bitty boy. You ever feel the urge to pray to God for patience? Before you do that, go read the book of Job.
Yep.
And you'll come away saying, I ain't got it so bad after all.
Exactly my point too. Yep. Job had quite a trial.
And this was the thing too. In the Old Testament, the devil was a real dude.
Mm-hmm.
In the New Testament, not so much. But the Old Testament, the devil was a real dude. So you kind of see how evil and how conniving he really is. And I know a lot of people in the modern age say, well, there's not really a devil. Well, yeah, there is. And it's called human nature. And there you go.
That's that's the label we put on it.
Yeah, sure. It's a label we put on it, but that's where we're weak, human nature. And he exploits that,
Yeah. Yeah. Job's a good story to go read. we talk about that in the New Testament. There's some really good stories. All the good stories of John and Paul's letters, to the Galatians and the Colossians and Ephesians and all those guys that they wrote to. But Job's story truly is worth reading. To try to get a feel for who this guy was, and then see what Satan did to him, and why it was allowed to happen. It's pretty cool, really.
It's very, very ancient. I mean, you're going back in time with that story. Very, very ancient.
Yeah, that was a good one to bring in, Jamie.
Yeah, very good.
Well, thank you. Mock's out there. Hope you're doing well, brother.
Hey, Mock.
There's our meet and greet banner. And we need to start clearing the deck for our brother Chad coming up at 10 o'clock. Mark, how you doing, buddy? You snuck in right at the verse of the week started. I ain't had a chance to talk to you.
Yeah, no problem. Doing real good. We had our last full week of school this week. We got just 3 days next week because of the holiday and a day outside. Yeah. And then following week, graduation was June 2nd, which was ironic after 22 years of teaching now. June 2nd, 1989 was the day I graduated.
Wow.
Yep, my birthday.
That
was a hell of a celebration. Yeah. So we're closing her down. We're getting ready for summer activities, and boy, I cannot wait. We've had a couple of days of rain here in Pennsylvania, and that's just a hard thing to take at the end of May. You're looking forward to warm weather, and it's just been depressing. But looking up for the weekend, we have a air show going on right across the street from me this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, the Blue Angels are going to be here. I'm not going to be here tomorrow because of airsoft, but Sunday I'm hoping to get some good footage, and I'll try to post that up. Some good stuff. So
F-18s, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They were practicing this afternoon, and I was in a spot to try to get some video, and I didn't get much good, but man, they came right overhead. I could see the landing gear. Man, they were just loud. It's gonna be a good time.
That's power.
Yep. So it was great to be here. Sorry I was late, but things happen. My son's enjoying that extra martial arts class he's taking, and getting really interested in it. So it is what it is.
Any progress with the Harriet?
No, I haven't had time yet. I need to change out those lugs on both barrels, the 41 and the 357, and see if there's any difference if they work. And then I'll proceed from there if I have to buy some more parts or do whatever. I don't really want to stone that Harriet lug.
If both of those are doing the same thing, I would be more willing to look at the frame than the barrels. But
well, the 41 loosened up and was much better, but the Harriet is just absolutely no go. I can beat on that thing and it doesn't want to open. So we'll trade those out and see what happens. But
I've never had that happen. I've probably had 25 contender barrels. I know guys do have the problem. Not like it never happens, but I've never had it happen. And I'm so upset with the barrel I sent out to Ricky because it was perfect on my frame. I figured this is going to be great. I've already shot it. I know it's a real good shooter. It snaps on my frames perfect. I didn't even dream he was going to have a problem, and he has a problem with it. So it's unfortunate.
Yep. No,
I talked you into getting that Harriet, and now you're having problems. So I kind of feel bad.
No, it'll work out. Something will change, and it'll be fine. So thanks for having me. Been a wonderful evening. Good to see everybody. Been hanging out there in the side chat, doing what I do. So let's go ahead and move it on. How about Rebel? You next?
I guess. Everything's good with me. I've been fishing. Happy times. Things have slowed down at the shop. Normal summer slowdown. My distributors have said the same. They're calling me trying to unload really expensive stuff on me, and I'm like, guys, y'all really know this is not the time of year to spend $1,000. You know, I'm kind of waiting for them to offer the Marlin rifles where you don't have to buy a GP 100 or a Super Red Hawk in conjunction with it. You know, just buy it straight out. Up until now, that's what the game the distributors have been playing, and you know it's kind of hard for a small business. You buy a pistol, it's going to sell for $1,100, and then you're buying a rifle that's also going to sell for $1,100, and that's a big hit. So I'm hoping things kind of smooth out there, and we're able to get the Marlin straight out, and don't have to buy expensive Ruger pistols to go along with that. You know, you basically have to have a customer ready to buy one or the other before you order it if you're a small shop. So that's the predicament I'm in right now. Other than that, things are going okay. I'm keeping my head above water, and Kyle,
Where?
Kyle, you, what's happening with you?
Oh man, it was a great chat. Good to see everybody. Glad to be seen. Side chat was popping. All in all, it was a good night. I'm just getting ready to go hop in the shower, rinse and repeat, and go to work tomorrow. And I got to work on Monday, but I'm gonna do my due diligence when I get off. So, I go every year. Think about it. It's Memorial Day. Y'all keep in mind what the day's about. It means a lot to me.
It's a sad day, actually.
It is. But with that being said, sit back, say some prayers, keep your loved ones in your heart, and if you got loved ones that have fallen in the line of duty, reach out to their family if you can, and just let them know you're thinking about them. Other than that, that's what I got. Go ahead, Gene.
Good to be on tonight. Hope everyone has a wonderful Memorial Day. And as Kyle said, you know, always give remembrance to those who have given their lives for us. Very important we do that. I'm going to honor my little brother this weekend. I lost him. Miss him very much. I probably won't be doing any grilling out or anything because I'm going to go to the range tomorrow and help set up the stages for the USPSA match on Sunday. And Monday will just be a day of remembrance for me. I'll call Sis Mary Jo and talk to her, and probably talk about track a little bit, in remembrance of him. Other than that, I wish everybody a great weekend. Thanks for having me on. I always have a good time, always good side chat, always good being with my brothers on the live chat. But you know what? Always remember, it's only once around the ride, folks. So you always got to remember to keep blowing the smoke. I knew you guys would do the waves, though. I just kept the finger rip.
I actually blew the smoke.
Good.
Walter, you got anything coming up, dude?
Oh, absolutely. I've got more coming up than I can keep down, I guess. I don't know.
We got a whole lot of new toys.
Thanks for the invitation. As always, I truly appreciate the gang over here in the side chat. There are our brethren and our family, and we had a good show tonight. I thought it was stimulating for me, you know, to see all of that, the chit chat that we had going on. We talked about a lot of different stuff. It was great. far as what's going on here at the Viejo bench, I've got more coming up with this donation from RCBS. We put one out here with that press, and the next one we're going to pull out is the M1000 beam balance. We'll take a good hard look at that. And I've got a Moldy Monday coming up for you on Monday, and another Wad Cutter Wednesday. God, boy, that Wad Cutter thing is going on. I've still got more than 15 wad cutters to show you guys. And I think we're up to episode 18 already. So we got a bunch of them to go through.
Bring it on, brother. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Wad Cutter Walter, they call me, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, that's coming up. And I got one more episode of the 45 Schofield project that we'll do the last issue of that here in the next 10 days or so. So quite a bit going on. Here out at my bench. I'm having fun and staying out of trouble. So anyway, thanks again, everybody, for participating and putting up with our shenanigans here. It's a great time for me. I look forward to Friday night every week. So, Mr. CW, what's happening, buddy?
Thanks, Walter. Good stuff. I like that. I like that Meat Plat Wednesday.
Yeah, Meat Plat Wednesday.
I've got two 2520 videos coming out this week. I didn't really plan it that way, but that one went over pretty good the other day, so I got a couple more of them. I'm on the range and then I'm on the bench, so I've got to look forward to it. I'll probably stick something in there because I got nothing else floating around that week, so I'll find something else to stick in there to excite you guys up, maybe, hopefully. Other than that, I'll be to the range. I got to run down to the shore tomorrow, do a little boat prep. Our season's starting up. Boat's not in the water yet, but we'll be able to after this weekend, hopefully.
Nice.
So be going out fishing a little bit, and that'll be good. Supposed to have a little better weather. We've had a lot of rain. That nor'easter went through here, and it gave us a lot of wind and rain. Didn't hit me too bad. It was a little more northeast of me, but we got a lot of rain. So everything is green and lush. Other than that, we're doing good. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks, everybody on the panel. Thanks, everybody in the side chat. Maybe.
Absolutely, guys. You guys on the panel, thank y'all so much. Guys on the side chat, we love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. We hope the Lord blesses y'all all real good. And if He's willing, we'll see you next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.
God bless everyone.